Busan, the city in the south that many people know for its magnificent beaches and ocean. But did you also know that Busan was once the capital city of Korea?
Yes, the provisional capital for 1023 days during the Korean War. And it was also the main base for refugees. Some even call it the city of refugees.
피난민들 레퓨지가 들어와가지고 100. They increased.
100만 명?
100만 명으로.
1 million.
예.
Wow.
But at that time, Busan wasn't ready to host so many refugees. And it didn't look anything like today. And as Busan World EXPO 2030 ambassador, I want to bring you this Busan special and show you 2 of Busan's dongs, or neighborhoods that these refugees have painfully shaped. I can tell you that Busan has come a long freaking way. And they deserve to host the Expo in 2030. So let's dive into these fascinating hoods.
I am on my way to Ami-dong Tombstone Culture Village, and it was one of the neighborhoods where many of the refugees settled during the Korean War. And I would like to trace back their steps and see if we can find anything regarding that time. I can hear you thinking, why is it called Tombstone Culture Village? Well, during Japanese occupation, it was a Japanese cemetery, but after liberation, it was abandoned, neglected, and there wasn't enough space for the refugees to settle down in Busan, so they had to settle down on the cemetery. They used the cemetery, the tombstones, to build their houses because they didn't have enough material. And that makes it a very unique but intriguing neighborhood to explore. And we're almost there. We have to follow this sign, Bisok Munhwa Mal, which means Tombstone Culture Village. This way. And this is one of my favorite things to do in Korea, is to explore neighborhoods, because every neighborhood has its own character, its own personality. And it's really cool to find out what it is exactly. Well, here it is in the name, Tombstone. But it gives us a small mission. Can we still see and find those tombstones from the Japanese cemetery? That's what I'm curious about. So, Bisok Munhwa Mal, 어디에 있어요? 네. 아, 계속? 아,
20분 가야 돼.
아, 20분? 괜찮아요. 네, 감사.
참 올라가는데 요런 차가 좀 올라가는데.
아니, 결국 재미없어요. 네, 구경하고 싶어요.
Here I go, up the hill, into the Tombstone village. And upon arrival, the first thing I noticed was a house built on a tombstone. That's a promising welcome. I thought it would be challenging to find the tombstones.
So let's explore the neighborhood and see if we can find any remainings of the tombs hidden underneath or in the buildings, in the walls.
How do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do? 반갑습니다.
여기 미석
아니,
미석꽃 많이 있어요?
저 내가 알려줄게.
아, 네네.
아니에요, 알려줄 테니까. 이게,
이거요?
이게 주춧돌이라 정말하면. 주춧돌하면은 집안 당긴다고 주춧돌을 해놓은 거라. 이거 이 지구통이네 이. 공닭에 곡식 찍는다고 하는 게 이게 돌이라 이게. 비석마을인데.
네.
정말하면 뭐가 날아가고.
네.
묻은 자리가 이 자리라.
네.
일본 그렇게
네.
6.25 전쟁 당시에
네.
일본 사람들이 묻은 땅이 그래서 비석마을이에요.
네.
일본 사람들 찾아와 한번 자기 조상 찾는다고.
Am I the only one having a hard time with the Busan dialect? Still, I'm happy he could show me some of the remaining tombstones. And now I have a better feeling about what to look for.
So it's a bit hard to find the tombstones, but once you notice it's actually pretty cool. And it's kind of like a maze. There are many small alleys that I hardly fit through after morning breakfast. But regardless of whether you can find the tombstones, it's still beautiful to look around. So cool. What a neighborhood. Now I'm not sure about this one, but this looks like the remainings of a tombstone. At least they used the stones from the graveyards to build this wall. Check this out. See? So not everything is so obvious, but I assume again that this used to be part of a tomb. You see that? Like those stones underneath the house. See, this is one of the clearer ones. Something written here. A lot of things are written here. The longer you walk through this neighborhood, the more you notice, the more you see. And that makes it really fun to explore. And slowly you start to realize that, yes, the refugees had a really difficult life here, but somehow they managed to make the best out of it. And you gotta respect that.
뿌리면 돌같이 생겼지?
이거 다 미석 와.
이거는 돌이야 이거는. 이거는 세면돌.
세면도. 네.
요 밑에 여기는 비석이 다 들어있어요.
미석.
여기 있지?
미석.
여기 봐라 여기.
미석.
여기 이렇게 크지?
네.
이렇게 요 비석을 일하는 사람 쭉 깨뿌려가지고 이게 글자 저기 있는데.
네.
이거 비서. 여기 한번 봐봐라. 그치?
아,
뭐라고 써줬지? 여기서 그렇고.
네. 와,
이 사람 벗고 댕기면 모르겠지?
아.
이게 비석이 깨지.
맞아요. 와.
비석.
Ah, yeah. So we are now going to the next neighborhood where many refugees have settled, Uamdong Somak village. And in this neighborhood there's something else unique, other than Ami-dong where we were before. Here you have the barracks, because during Japanese occupation they made barracks here where they kept cows, steers, cattle before they shipped them to Japan. Korea was liberated, and then during the Korean War the refugees came, and because of scarcity of space they had to find refuge in these barracks. And the barracks weren't big, so my goal is to find the barracks in Uamdong.
I noticed a quiet but charismatic village with small alleyways that I couldn't wait to explore. The Tombstone village already had an incredible story, and I bet this neighborhood does have one too.
Already these really small alleys, look at this. So cool. So now just a matter of time before we find the first somaksa. So this building here on my left is one of the somaksa buildings that still stands. And to be honest, if you walk around it, it's difficult to recognize it. But if you look at the rooftop, you can still see the fence sticking out of it. They're now painted, probably renovated a few times. So that's how you recognize the somaksa.
As with the tombstones, it wasn't easy to notice at first. But once you know what you're looking for, you start to see it everywhere. Some are in plain sight, others more hidden, and others renovated, but it's still there.
It looks like a somaksa, but I'm not sure, to be honest, whether it is a somaksa. Maybe we should ask someone.
이거 소막사예요? 아, 예, 이거요?
Okay, so we found a somaksa, and they built these wooden walls in between, inside the barracks, so there are different spaces to live in. And later, those walls turned into cement, concrete. So I'm actually standing now in an old refugee house. Hey, what do you think about that? So if I have to compare Ami-dong and Uam-dong, where I am now, then I must say that Uam-dong has this sadder feeling towards it. Here I can actually feel the hardship that the refugees had during the Korean War. Somehow the buildings and the alleys, they speak a language.
Both Ami and Uam-dong are great neighborhoods. The buildings speak the language of the past, and from above, the density becomes apparent. Again and again, I realize how many Korean historical sites are related to Japanese occupation, and, one way or another, reflect the painful past. They remain as a subtle reminder of what has happened. Busan has come a long way, and hosting the World Expo in 2030 would be a well-deserved milestone.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed Busan's history as much as I did. And hopefully one day you will visit the city and see it through the eyes of the refugees. Goodbye.